I'm 79 years old, and I've been the loudest person in every room I ever walked into. Not loud like music, loud like a wall, the kind of loud that stops other people mid-sentence because they can feel, before you even open your mouth, that you've already decided you're right. My name is Susan, and I want to tell you what that kind of loud costs you. Not all at once, slowly. The way a house settles and cracks without you noticing until one day the ceiling comes down. Even as a young woman, I had an answer for everything. Someone would start a sentence and I'd already know where it was going and I'd finish it for them, with my version, my better version. I thought that was intelligence. I thought that was confidence. I didn't realize for decades that it was fear wearing a very convincing mask, because that's what it was. Underneath all of it, fear. Fear that if I stayed quiet, I'd be overlooked. Fear that if I didn't speak first, someone else would define the room, define the conversation, define me. So I spoke, always, loudly, quickly, before anyone else could. And if someone raised their voice near me, something happened in my chest, something automatic and fast, like a switch. If you spoke above me, I spoke above you. If you interrupted me, I interrupted you twice. I couldn't explain it then. I just knew that someone speaking louder than me felt like an insult, felt like a challenge I had to answer. I answered every single one. My husband used to say, "Susan, you don't listen to respond. You listen to reload." I laughed when he said it. I shouldn't have laughed. I should have gone very quiet and thought about that for a long time. Because he was right. He was exactly right. While someone was talking to me, I wasn't really hearing them. I was building my next point, organizing my next argument, waiting for the small pause where I could come back in, louder, sharper, more prepared. Conversations with me weren't conversations. They were competitions, and I never let anyone win. My neighbor once told me gently that I had interrupted her 4 times in a single afternoon. 4 times. I remember looking at her and feeling genuinely confused, and then defensive. I told her she was being oversensitive. I told her I was just enthusiastic. That's how I talk. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. I said those words so many times in my life, like they were a shield, like being who I was gave me permission to cost other people their comfort, their dignity, their words. She stopped coming over after that. I told myself she was difficult. I was the difficult one. The thing about always being the loudest, always having the last word, people stop giving you theirs. It happens quietly. You don't notice it because you're still talking. But slowly, gradually, the people around you start saying less. They give you the short answer. They stop bringing you the long ones. They stop showing up at your door with the complicated feelings and the hard questions and the things they're not sure about, because they already know what will happen. You'll take their unfinished thought and finish it with yours. You'll take their uncertainty and replace it with your certainty. You'll make them feel small without even trying, without even meaning to. And they'll smile, and they'll nod, and they'll leave. And you'll think the conversation went well because you said everything you wanted to say. My daughter Karen, she's a grown woman now. She has her own life, her own family, and she loves me. I know she does. But there is a distance between us that I put there, brick by brick, year by year. When she was young, she used to come to me with things, problems at school, feelings she couldn't explain, questions about boys, about friends, about life, and I can see it so clearly now. I remember the way I would respond, not with questions, not with "tell me more," with answers, immediate, confident, complete answers. Here is what you should do. Here is what it means. Here is why you're thinking about it wrong. She stopped coming to me with things when she was about 15. I thought it was just adolescence, normal teenage distance. It wasn't. It was a 15-year-old girl who had learned that her mother's ears were just waiting rooms for her mother's mouth. I didn't hear her. Not really. Not the way she needed. And by the time I understood that, she had found other people to hear her. She built her life around people who listened, which is beautiful for her, which is what she deserved. But she didn't build it around me. There's a particular silence that lives in a house where you've spent a lifetime talking. I notice it now every morning. It sits in the kitchen with me while I make my tea. It follows me from room to room. It's not peaceful, this silence. It's the sound of every conversation I turned into a monologue, every person I spoke over, every moment someone tried to reach me and I was too busy being right to reach back. I won every argument. I have the quiet to prove it. I'm not telling you that you should never speak up. I'm not telling you to make yourself small. That's not what I learned. What I learned is the difference between a voice and a wall. A voice connects. A wall divides. And I spent my whole life thinking I was speaking when I was actually just blocking people from getting in, blocking myself from having to hear something that might ask me to change. If someone is talking to you right now, really talking to you, offering you something real, put down what you're preparing to say, just for a moment. Hear them. Not so you can respond better, just so they feel heard. Just so they know that being near you is safe. I didn't know how to do that. It cost me more than I can count. I'm 79 years old. The house is quiet, not the peaceful kind. The kind that feels like a punishment you gave yourself without realizing it. No arguments, no noise, no one to correct, no one to prove wrong. Just me and 4 walls that heard everything I ever said and gave nothing back. I spent my whole life making sure my voice was the loudest in the room. I thought that was strength. I thought winning every argument meant something. I thought if I spoke long enough, hard enough, with enough force, eventually people would understand that I was right. They understood something else entirely. They understood that being around me was exhausting, that their words had no room in a conversation with me. That love, when it has to fight to be heard, eventually stops trying. David stopped trying. My sister Helen stopped trying. My daughter Karen, she stopped trying at 15. I thought it was teenage distance. It wasn't. It was a 15-year-old girl who had learned that her mother's ears were just waiting rooms for her mother's mouth. I didn't hear that either, and now the phone rings sometimes. Short calls, warm but careful, from people who love me but never learned to stay long, because staying long always had a cost. I think about that now every morning with my tea. All those arguments I won. All those last words I kept for myself. All those moments someone was trying to reach me and I was too busy being right to reach back. What did I win exactly? This silence. This empty, heavy, permanent silence. I would give anything, to sit in a room right now and just listen. Not to respond, not to reply. Just to hear someone's voice fill the space completely and say nothing except, I'm here. Keep going. I'm listening. I didn't know that was the most powerful thing a person could offer someone. I know it now. Too late. But I know it. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel. If you want to share your own story, the link is in the description. Your story may be next.